Hey.
And I did. Okay. And her maiden name was Ziskin, and her married name was Goldman. So funny. My mother's maiden name was Goldman. I don't know why I can't get into my head, but okay, Goldman. Yeah. Okay. Are you really? Huh. Nice.
There used to be a Goldman family here.
Goldman. I think it's one of those, do you know, right, exactly. Do you know Ellie Cohen? Okay. So Parshas Ba'aloscha, okay. This is like one of the parshiot that I return to over and over and over again. And I always think to myself, like, okay, enough about the menorah, but it's never enough about the menorah. So the truth is, these days I just open my Sarim, and whatever speaks to me, that's what we're doing. So so the two pieces that you have in front of you are what spoke to me. So let's read the first few psukim. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, Daber el Aharon ve'amarta elav, right? Speak to Aaron and say to him, V'ha'aloscha es haneros el mul pnei hamenorah. When you light up the lamps, the 7 lamps should shine towards the face of the menorah. Ya'iru shivat hanerot, and that's how they will give light. The 7 branches. El pnei hamenorah. Yeah. Daber el Aaron ve'amarta elav. Yes, it is. Speak to Aaron and say to him, right? So we generally have, it's funny actually that you pointed out, because usually we say, Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, Vayidaber el bnei Israel v'amor lahem, right? Or lemor, okay? So we often, if not always, have this double lashon of speaking, right? When you speak to bnei Israel, say to them, like that. So generally, lemor is like, it's ongoing. The second version, good morning. This is for you. This page is for you. The second amor is like saying, say to and say to them, essentially. And it connotes like this ongoing, it's continuously being said. What is that? Okay. Okay. So, but it's also a weird pasuk. Like, right, light the haloscha. First of all, is not the general terminology when we speak about lighting lights, right? What do we say generally? Ladlik, right? Okay, and here we have haloscha, which has this connotation of going up. Okay, so we'll go right down to the Rashi just there. Okay, it's underneath source number 2. Al shem shehalahav oleh. Because it's called that because the flame goes up, okay, right? It's one of the most beautiful and mashma'uti images in the physical world, a flame, right? If you could draw a picture of a neshama, it would look like a flame, right? Meaning it's the closest thing in this physical world to resemble a soul, right? How does it resemble a soul? What are the many, many ways that it resembles a soul? How? Yeah.
It burns. It's bright.
Okay, it's bright, so there's a light to it. So that's true of our souls also. Okay, it goes up, right? Did you ever try to light like a candle that's down there, and you turn the match by accident? I did this when I was little. I never forgot it. Right? You turn the match the other way, the flame still goes up, right? And it burns your hand. All right. So no matter how you hold a candle or a match, the flame always goes up. So that's also true of our souls. Our souls are always, always, always reaching up. We don't always feel they're reaching up, but they are always reaching up to connect to their source, to Hashem, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Well, we're not there yet. The Rashi, that's the next part of the Rashi, okay? But the other aspect of a flame is that, and we have this in the Yahoo, that a flame is constantly moving, right? There's no such thing as a flame standing still. There are a few things that everyone in the world can always watch, right? A flame is one of them. A fire. You can sit forever and watch a fire because it just never bores you. It connects you. Yeah.
It can also light other lights.
Ah, beautiful. It's one of those things that you the more you share, the more there is, right? It's not like a cup of water where if I pour for you half of my cup of water, I now have only a half a cup of water, right? But if I share my candle with your candle, now there's two candles. My candle doesn't get diminished at all from sharing with you. In fact, it gets more. Yeah.
Right.
I'll turn all the phone sounds off, if you don't mind, please.
It's like the stuff like that. Water that it out just
That's interesting. Yeah, there's different kinds of water though, right? And there's different kinds of flame, I guess you could say. The truth is there are some flames that water doesn't put out, right? The flame is too great and the unless you put the whole ocean of water on it, then it actually says like in Shir Hashirim, actually, I think we're going to read the pasuk today. It says like Maim Rabim Asher Ahava ke you know what? It's in Shir Hashirim that the water, the love is so great. Here, right, exactly. If the Maim Rabim lo yachol, exactly. Okay.
I guess they put on the wedding invitations.
Yeah, right. Like I remember one time it was so interesting. I'm sure this has happened to many of you, right? It was one of my first Shabbases where I was with several women, and I was actually in Crown Heights for the kinus, the shluchas, the convention of all the shluchas, right? The female shluchot, whatever shluchas that are all over the world, right? The emissaries, exactly, the Rebbe's emissaries all over the world. I mean, this was in my early days, and I merited to be at someone's house, and she was hosting a bunch of these shluchas, and each one lit like 12, 13 candles for Shabbos. And what do we light? Tea lights, right? So when you light that many tea lights all together, actually is a fire hazard. This is like public service announcement, right? You have to leave space between the groupings of the tea lights. When the metal that holds the tea light is not a very thick metal, and when they all are next to each other, it conducts so much heat that it actually became one big, huge flame, one like roaring fire, this like whole tray lit up on fire. And so of course, what do? You throw water on it, right? But it's the type, the wax that's, or the whatever, the burning, the paraffin that's in the tea lights. You can't put it at, right. Like unless we really threw like a bathtub of water on it, it actually just exploded higher. So it was like I like have that image in front of as I was answering you, I had that image in front of my mind that we threw a pitcher of water on it and the flame just actually exploded higher. And we had to actually, whatever, in the end we like covered it with a whole bunch of pots. Exactly, no pots. Yeah, because we starved it from the oxygen. That was the anyway. But it was a very dramatic example of that water doesn't always put out flames. So, but it's interesting that you're saying that, right? What's the word? Symbolically, it's interesting.
I have a friend who likes 72 candles. Just whole table.
Wow.
And never remember what she likes.
Okay.
72.
Tell her we want to know.
Yourself.
Mm.
You do need the water, like keep it under control. Like you always need that to balance you out. You come to much of it, nothing can help you.
Interesting. All right. So now we're going to get to what Sarah pointed out, okay, that Rashi goes on, and Rashi says, Katu bahadlakatan lashon aliyah, right? It says that it's the language is that it's going up. Shetzarich lahadlik ad shetehei shalhevet olam me'eleha, right? That you have to hold it. So you have to hold the lighter to the flame, to the wick. You have to hold the flame to the wick until the wick ignites and lights up of its own, right? So this is the Rebbe used to speak about this all the time in reference to teachers, chinuch, and that could be mothers and fathers, and also teachers in school, and any situation of chinuch where the goal is to ignite the child and the child to rise up on his or her own, right? To inspire them to explore their own abilities and their own interests, not to stop on them from on top and force them to memorize, but rather to enable them to rise up of their own interests and of their own personality. Okay. So, and then the last pasuk that we're going to read for today, V'yas can't, last pasuk in this parsha.
I never understood that.
It's
hold it and not like part of the wick, and then you wait for it to like the rest of it, but sometimes that's old, the lighter.
There is no other way. There's no other way. It's just pointing it out. It's just pointing it out that that's how it happens, right? You hold the flame to the wick until the wick is lit up, and it has its own light.
Yeah. But that's what
right. That's
he's saying. He's just making a point of this. It's not trying. No, I'm just trying to understand.
Rashi's just pointing it out.
You can't let part oh, to go up. You can't part of the wick and then hope that it's going to spread to the rest of the wick and light itself. You have to hold it there until the entire wick is lit.
Right. I understand what Becky's saying, meaning there is no other way. Of course, if you hold it for a second, it would go out, and that's the point. Right. Right. But Rashi's making a point, and it's a symbolic point as well as a practical halakhic point. Right. Right. Okay. Sometimes halakha has a deeper meaning than the actual, you know what? So I just said. Okay. But actually, Becky, you know what? The second piece that we're going to do today is actually going to focus on the concept of halakha having a deeper aspect. Okay. Gimel. The Ya'as Ken Aaron. And Aaron did exactly that. Sorry, I don't have numbers because when I copy, it's the psukim on the top. We're back on the top. I don't know why when I cut and paste from Safaria, the numbers of the psukim don't come out. So it's just the third line on the top. Yeah, the psukim. Okay, V'yas ken Aaron. So Aaron did exactly that. El mu pnei hamenorah, he'ela neroteha. Okay, like facing the face of the menorah, he lit up the candles. Kasher tziva Hashem es Moshe, the way that Hashem had commanded Moshe. And Rashi says about that. Right, he says, Vayas ken Aaron, lahagid, is in the Rashi, second source, right? Okay. Vayas ken Aaron, lahagid shivcho shel Aaron shelo shina. Okay. This is a praise of Aaron that he did exactly what he was told. And a different year we'll talk about that. Okay. That, what's so special? Hashem said, do this, and he did this. Okay. But part of it is that he himself was like there's a concept of bittul here of like just doing exactly what Hashem said, and it doesn't change, right? It doesn't change it forever. Right. Okay, so we're gonna every single day. That's what he did exactly. Okay. So we're gonna the first piece we're gonna do in the Chassidus is the Likutei Halachot, which is source number 3. Okay, Likutei Halachot is. It's always where I put it. Okay. Okay. So Likutei Halachot is Rabbi Nassan of Breslov, right? Who was the main student and the person that wrote down all of Rabbi Nachman's Torahs. And basically Likutei Halachot is he goes through Shulchan Aruch and he brings out Chassidus, like deeper meaning, deeper aspects, more pnimius of the different halachot, but he also brings in Rabbi Nachman's teachings into it, and through his own teachings, he explains Rabbi Nachman's teachings. Okay. Ikar shorash haneshama hu b'chinas ratzon. Okay, the essence of the neshama. Sorry, you're right. I you know what? I made too few. Let me just read with you for 1 second. Haneshama kru yaner. I got it. I just skipped a line when I whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay, Haneshama Kruya Ner. The neshama is called a candle. Kamosha Katuv, like it says in Mishlei, Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam, right? Which is a very famous pasuk. The candle of God is the soul of man. Chofesh Kol Chadrei Baten, which can look through all the different hidden and nooks and crannies, all the small rooms. The Ikar okay, now I'm back here.
Say that again. The candle is what?
The candle of God is the soul of man. That's what it says. Soul, neshama. Yeah. Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. Okay, is the soul of man, and we talk about this very much when we're doing B'dikas Chametz. Okay, that you use a candle davka, and why do you use a candle davka? Because sometimes a big light, like you can't get into just physically speaking, you can't get into the crevices. And part of our goal, spiritually speaking, at, B'dika Chametz is, right, when we talk about Chametz, we're not going to go into a whole Chametz shir, right? But like Chametz is ego and all that. And you have to look in all the crevices and all the hidden places. And you do that with a candle, okay? Because a candle's light is like a softer light, right? It's a very comforting light. And therefore, sometimes when you shine a harsh light on something, the vulnerable parts of ourselves, the parts that we want to keep hidden, stay hidden. And when we shine a gentle, compassionate light on them, they come out and they can be healed, right? So that's part of like why we look with a candle, because we're really looking deep into ourselves. Okay, so Ikar Shoresh HaNeshama Hu B'chinat Ratzon. Okay, the essence of the neshama, or the root essence of the essence of the neshama, is really the concept of Ratzon. Okay, desire, will. Ve'al kein nikreis nefesh lashon Ratzon. Okay, the word nefesh is connected to like to want something. Okay, ve'al kein nikreis ner, and also that's why it's called a ner. Kitokef haratzon hu kmo ner dolek. The again, like I'm throwing around all these words like essence, but like a candle symbolizes ratzon, right? Meaning the fire is burning the wick, and it's like eating up the candle. So that's like the idea, okay? That when you're passionate about something, you eat it up. Right? Did you ever like listen to were you ever in a I don't know, a concert, a class, something, and you're like on the edge of your seat, you want more and more. You feel yourself like drinking it in, right? Insatiable, right? You have this like passion for what is being said to you or what you're hearing. More and more. I want more and more and more and more. Okay. It's also why like sometimes when you I don't know, I'm sure this happens even more with grandchildren, right? That you like my mother used to say, like, my eyes can't get enough of you, right? Like it's like you drink someone in because you're so thirsty for them. You want to know them and connect to them and love them so much that you're like eating them up, ki'ilu, okay? V'haratzon כי תוקף האהבה והרצון להשם יסברך בוער כמו רשפי אש שלהבת יה. Okay, that, and this is a pasuk from Shir HaShirim, obviously, that the essence, the tokef is what's a better word for tokef? Like kifa, like it's like the yeah like the height. Let's call it that. Okay, the height. That's why it's like a tokef. It's like that's the height of its, usefulness, essentially. Okay, the height of the love and the will that we have, or the ratzon, meaning the thirst, right? That's really what it means. For Hashem burns, like it says in Shir HaShirim, rishpe eish shalhevet, a fiery flame that burns. Okay, the fiery flame of Hashem. Simimenu nidlakin kol haneros hakadoshim bevchinas. Okay, wait, sorry. Again, I'm sorry. I should have made more copies of this. I don't know why I didn't, but I finished Mine Rabbi, this is the pasuk we were looking for before. That's why I couldn't find it in here. It's like a shortened version. Mayim rabim lo yachlu lechabot et ha'ava. Right? Great waters can't put out the fire. Okay, that through the thirst, it's really through Hashem's flame, right? Hashem is being compared to Aharon, holding up the flame to the wicks of the menorah. So it's really from Hashem's fiery furnace of his, essence that our souls get this, like, our souls are like the wicks, and we are thirsting for Hashem's flame on one side, right? Okay. On the other hand, obviously, our souls are like our own, candles, but the candle, the flame is always thirsting for more, what's the word? Fuel, for more fuel. Okay.
That's what you say, kabbalah. That's when you say, yeah. That's what you say, kabbalah. That's right.
Right. Right. So that's the source for our souls. It's coming down, and our souls want to ultimately to be like connected to it. We want that flame to be like a connected flame. We don't want to feel ourselves. We're not separate, but we sometimes feel ourselves as separate. So we want that like replenishment of the fire. We want more and more and more and more of that, of Hashem's flame to be burning in us, not just our little flame to be feel like it's like separate.
Like when it comes to Shabbat, you make a dollar, you make it for the candle. You can't put it out water, you put it out with big juice or with wine.
Right.
Sometimes you like to have the candles from the mouth and bring it in.
Right.
But when it's hot, that month it goes into the other. They keep saying you have to when it's let the Shabbat separate goes into hot, you not to keep it the candle.
Right. Or you look at the Shabbos candles, which stay burning. That's the other way of doing it. Nice, beautiful. So we have, so in Chabad, and I'm sure there's other Chassidices, I just came through through Chabad. We have, and it may even be, you'll tell me, like some element of halacha that you don't blow out a candle. We don't blow out a candle, right? You wave out a candle because there's a connection between the neshama and the flame. Right. So we take you could take a venture, you could take a piece of paper, and you take the birthday card that, and you wave it out, right? Because A, it's less germs, public service announcement, but B, there's this aspect of like you're looking at the sort of the physical representation, ke'ilu, right, on some level of a soul, and then your neshama, your neshima, your breath also represents your soul. So it's like you're putting your own soul out with your breath. I don't know. There's some element there of like, it's.
My fathers always say, you do that, it's like you're look up what's it going to say.
Right.
I didn't, I could have liked birthday candles. Father never lit birthday candles.
Right. So you could, so that's why we sometimes say, like, look, fire is not the only, we don't only use fire for Kedusha. So there's different levels of fire, there's the fire that is like, represents like the, or, a ganuz, like, and like the Hanukkah candles, the Shabbos candles. So those we don't put out, right? But then there's other candles that you like, you light a scented candle and it just burns, and, you can put it out. It doesn't have that same level but symbolically, in somewhere it does. So, we don't blow them out.
Shabbat, lighted, don't say Shabbat. The candle.
Your candles burn. Oh, hey, Vanti, if it goes out before it's time. Oh, that's a good idea. Lately, my candles have, I light oil, and there's been one. Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. That's beautiful. Okay. I'm in. Okay. You don't mind if I sit close, right? I did it like this. It's so funny. It's in here, and I thought like, oh, I'll just read it from the book. But then I see that okay. Nikra. Okay, where are we? I know we're still up here. Okay, visit. Okay, the ikar or that.
Yeah, that's we wrote. Did producer
Oh, okay, very good. Be'ikar or v'ner hanashama. Okay, I think I did. I think I'm good here. Cayenne. Let me just make sure. Hulu, rock. Okay, yeah. I think. Tell me if I read something that's not on your page. Thank you. Ve'ikar or v'ner hanashama hu shetzrichin leha'ir b'chol minei tokef hachoshech v'tzal mavet v'chulu. Okay, that what's the essence of a light and a candle, right? Ner haneshama, right? Any candle is really called ner neshama, right? But whatever any candle that you light, right? That the purpose of it is to light up the darkness, right? Right, exactly. Banu choshech legarish, right? You banish the choshech with the light, and salmavet is also right. The shadow of death and all of that, right? The way that we light that up is through light. Okay, otzem hachoshech lo haya efshar likayem, and really, like through the greatness of the darkness, really we shouldn't be able to exist. This world has so much darkness in it, right? We really see that, right? We really shouldn't. I mean, look at like Am Yisrael really shouldn't exist. Like logically speaking, how have we lasted all these thousands of years of persecution and exile and all of these things? It there's no real explanation. It doesn't make any sense that the neshama is still burning, after so many years of not having a Beis Hamikdash, after so many years of, being exiled from our land, before now, from so many years of confusion in our land, right? There's really no explanation. And also people just in general, right? How is it that we continue to try to make the world a better place? Like, it's an amazing thing that in with so much seeming darkness out there, that anyone wants to, continue to go on. How is it that after the 6 million, people went and rebuilt their lives? How is that possible? Right? It's really not possible. But somehow it happened because Hashem enabled it to happen.
Too much flame destroys. Too much flame destroys.
Right, but that's not the kind of flame that we're.
No, we're talking about a flame that's contained flame, a flame that's in a neshama. But maybe it's the same.
So, but look at the world, right?
It's flames, right? I'm saying
it's in flames, and yet it's still here. We're still here. No, we are still here. Like physically, we are still here. There's no, as dark as it looks and as inflamed as it looks. You're absolutely right. Too many flames also destroy, but at the same time, here we are. Yeah. Right. You're absolutely right. It happens to all of us when we accept challenges also in our lives, right? Did you ever say yes to something and then you're like, why did I say yes to that? I can't believe I said yes to that again, but there's something that pushes you. There's something that pushes you. There's something about that. I mean, I think I'm not talking about everything that we do, right? But think in your own life, right? There's something that you do that actually in the end, it gives you like a sense of accomplishment, or it gives you a sense of some kind of connection or some kind of, purpose or whatever it is, right? But as you accept it, or even as you're doing it, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this to myself again. All right, I said yes again. And here I am, and then at the end, you're like, oh, I guess that's why, right? Or the next time that it happens, you say yes again. And and it's like, because there's something pushing you to do that thing.
Like my exercises every morning, I start off by
something pushes you. Okay. Rock.
That it is a certain form that has been taken away from us. It's the news. It's
absolutely. Rak hanashama nimsh. Okay, so but this is the explanation. Rak hanashama nimsheches mimakom gavoha meod. But our souls come from a place that's very, very high. Okay, gavoha meod is like the highest places in Shamayim, right? The Kisei HaKavod, in fact. Meratzon ha'elyon, from Hashem's will. Hashem wanted this world. He wanted the Jewish people. That's why we exist. And that continues to give us koach to exist. Al ken yesh la koach im tirtze la'amod b'milchama zot. This is why we have the strength to withstand this war. All wars, the war of this world, this physical war, every war that we fight in our own personal lives. Ki'im titgaber le'echoz b'shorasha shehu b'chinas ratzon. Because it would, let me keep on going. Ki'im titgaber le'echoz b'shorasha shehu b'chinas ratzon dahainu sheleolam lo taniach et haratzon hatov b'chol ma she'yavor alav al yidei zeh tuchal litgaber le'olam neged cheshkas aguf v'haolam hazeh. Okay, because if it were to overcome us and kind of cover that connection, then we wouldn't be able to function. Okay, but the world can't do that. It can't break our connection to this ratzon elyon and the ratzon, that everything that comes over us, right? Everything that we face, all the challenges that we face in our lives. So it can't, it doesn't overcome us. Somehow the flame withstands. It keeps on going, and it keeps on enabling us to overcome the darkness around us. Every time the world tries to put it out, it lights up again. And that's really that's the essence of I was at a baby naming, not a baby naming, a kiddush for a baby girl. One of the young couples in our community had a baby girl, and they had this kiddush, and the baby's named after the wife's great grandmother, who was a survivor. And she said it's an amazing thing that the continuity of the Jewish people continues. I don't know, it's a miracle, really, that people got married. These great grandparents got married in 1944 in Hungary after the Nazis had already taken over. And you see in the wedding picture there yellow stars they had to wear. Now, that was a very short tkufa of time where it was very bad very quickly. And the great grandmother got saved by Raoul Wallenberg, and the great grandfather went through the camps and survived. But before that, before they were saved, they got married, and then they found each other again afterwards, which is the fact, to get married in a ghetto, essentially, right, is such a show of such a display of hope, right? Because there's no, we're gonna have this. This is gonna be something, right? It's not just a Hail Mary. That's a chas v'shalom. That's a bad. It's not a throw, to the hoop in the last quarters. It's not. This is going to be the last thing that I'm going to do. That's not what marriage is. Marriage is for the future, right? So to do that is this eternal flame of hope and of connection. That is, that is a true display of emunah.
He's talking about the situation in Israel and how people could use hope, and he starts off to say, hope is mandatory.
Yeah. You see those signs everywhere, right? That's there's signs up. Hope is mandatory. Yeah, absolutely. We have the hope. We just have to let it shine, right? Because we ourselves sometimes, it's impossible. We tamper, we dampen our own hope. So we have to know that, we should let it shine.
That's Viktor Frankl. That's basically how he...
Yeah, choose. Right? Exactly. The camps. והאדם בא לזה העולם בשביל להתנסות בזה, שיעבור עליו כמה מיני חושך וכולו. Okay? That a person comes, am I reading the same words as you have? Okay. That a person literally comes into the world to do this, okay? To overcome all this darkness, that they're going to be tested. We are going to be tested, that this darkness is going to come upon us. Ve'al kol ze ikar ha'etza ve'hatchbula hu Hitgabrut haratzon de kedusha. Okay, through all this, the advice and the tachbula is like the hack, right? That's a good modern word. It's like the strategy. It really means strategy, but it's like, I know, but it's like a life hack, right? That's how you say it these days. Like this is it's not just a strategy, because sometimes strategy feels complicated, right? And a hack is like cut through the complicated and just get right to the, like, what's going to work, essentially, right? That's what it means. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Every day is a new day. Yeah. Okay. And so the hack is that you know that your ratzon for kedusha is the hitgabrut. Okay, we have a thirst to draw Hashem into us, to this everlasting flame that's burning inside of us. That is the how we're gonna litgaber. כשאדם מתחזק איכשהו בכל מה שעובר עליו, לבלי להניח את הרצון הקדושה, when a person strengthens themselves with everything that they go through, right? Not to give up the will to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the will to, be a burning flame. להתחיל בכל יום מחדש, exactly like you just said, Hindi, and to start every day anew ברצונות חזקים חדשים להשם יתברך, with new, like, I want to continue to connect to you. I want to continue to be your flame in this world, even though the world's full of flames, right? Like you said, Juno, right? But I'm going to be this special flame that's going to light and not to destroy. Azai haratzon de kedusha shehu ikar kedusha saneshama kanal meir lo kmo ner mamash shemeir b'chol minei choshech ba'olam. Right. So then the ratzon for kedusha, that's what we're talking about. The thirst for kedusha, the thirst to look. You're all sitting here in a Torah shir. That's called ratzon lekedusha, right? I got up in the morning and I drove to the shir. I walked to the shir. I got dressed. I came to the shir. I'm sitting here. I'm listening. Right. That's ratzon to kedusha. Why? Because it helps us. It gives us koach to keep on moving forward. That's what this gives us. And a friend of mine, I always say to my friend, like, almost every single piece of Chassidus says basically exactly the same thing. Right? We say the same things. We all need to hear them every single day. That's why it says the same thing over and over, right? That Hashem is with you, and that there's hope. Hope is mandatory. That you're a burning flame. That the flame can't go out. That the flame is eternal. That the connection is eternal. That there's always a way to start anew. That it's not over. If it's not good, it's not. It's going to be good. And if it's not good yet, then it's not over. And all of these things. It's really the same message, right? Over and over again. But we constantly forget it, and we constantly need to hear it over and over again.
Sometimes even if the person doesn't realize it, the flame is still burning. I have a cousin who gave up on Judaism after the holidays. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Married a child.
Oh.
Okay. He's a psychotherapist.
Kal v'chomer, not just one, but two.
Met him once. There was a lecture at the Y in New York. And I decided I wanted to hear him. And I took his book with me, where I marked all kinds of things in there. And after the lecture, I went over to the shomer, whatever he's called. He said, I would like to speak to, and he said to me, no, he doesn't speak to anyone. I wrote my father's name, and I said, just give him this piece of paper. I'll wait 20 minutes. If he doesn't come, I'll go. Within 5 minutes, he came back. He said, I don't know what you wrote on the piece of paper, but he wants to see. And I went in. And he said, are you really Justin From's daughter? And I said, yes. And he said to me, he has no contact with Judaism. I took out the book and I said, I want to show you something. Page after page after page. I said, do you realize what this is? Either see, it came from the Gemara. I said, you cannot forget Jew, because the Jew is within you. And he took the book from me. He said, I don't believe it. And I said, listen, you've written what, 4 or 5 books? I said, let me go through everyone. I went through practically page by page. And I said, the Gemara is so large in I said, you have to realize that people are reading your words. I said, even if you don't want to accept the fact that you're Jewish, wow. The book speaks for you. I never forgot that, because it was like, you don't want to accept it, but the mayor is still in you, whether you want to and also burns for other people. And people, I don't know how many people read his books and say, this is from the Gemara.
No, no, but we see there's so many stories that have come out since October 7th. Also, like I heard something online the other day. A rabbi was saying that he was sitting on a plane next to some woman, and the woman says to him, like she's like I'm Jewish, but I have nothing to do with Judaism. I have nothing to do with Judaism, right? You all saw this, right? And she, okay, so she says, I send my kids to public school. I think even like Catholic private school, like to that extent, like we don't have anything Jewish. We do nothing. I don't know. I don't go to a synagogue. I don't belong to a synagogue. I don't live near a synagogue. I don't pay dues to a synagogue. I don't go to on Rosh Hashana. I don't get, and he's like, okay, I get it, but you're on a plane to Israel. And she was like, because since that was all before October 7th. And since October 7th, you know what my kids' friends call them? Terrible, slurs that are used for Jews. And if that's who they, I may not be identifying as a Jew, but they're all identifying us as Jews. So now now I need to know what that means. Now I need to find out. So that's why I'm coming to Israel. I want to know everything that I can about Judaism. And she already pulled her kids out of the school, put them into Jewish school. It's like, so like, and now she's on her way to Israel to learn more about Judaism. I mean, it's so crazy, right? Like that, but that's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Somebody got up to the action that why Shnasi has to be mentioned before you have to recognize it. And he said he and his family were in Kuwait, okay? They were in shul, and they noticed this girl in shul, and she didn't consider, she didn't do anything. I went over to her afterwards to try and see, talk to her and see, what was going on. She said she's been in Italy for 6 years as a medical student. She was living with a guy. She was ready to marry him, and they were dreaming, both of them finishing medical school, they're going to open this practice in Toscana or whatever. And then when the Megiddo girl was released, they were watching something on the news. And she got up and she was so excited and everything because she had, and he said, the guy said, did you know her? Do you know her? I said, no. So what are you doing? And she realized a guy will never understand the connection that there is between Jews. She left him.
Wow.
And she says she comes to shul not because she's religious or something. She needs a connection.
Wow, amazing. I had this kid at my Shabbos table this week. This doesn't have anything to do with October 7th, but it's like this. He actually was in university. He's in Aish now, and he was in university a few years ago, and his roommate was a religious Catholic that he was put together with. And the roommate was very into learning Torah, Bible, right, in his way, and he knew it really, really well. And this kid who had nothing, his father's not Jewish, his mother's Jewish. He knew that he was, like he was raised Jewish, whatever that, like meaning he did go to some kind of reform Sunday school, something like that. But it didn't mean anything to him. But this roommate who was Catholic, like the fact that he knew all, like Bible, right? Like somehow it opened his heart, and he actually said to the roommate, like there were a few questions that he had, and the roommate one day, left for him. He said, like the question that he left him a note. He said you should read this. It answers the question that you asked me yesterday. It was a piece from Torah that he highlighted in English. And it was like exactly what the answer to the question was. So he was like, wow, I need to like go learn, right? Why am I telling you this? Because now he's in Aish, okay? And he's a frum guy, but he said his mother is so proud and overcome by the fact that he is learning Torah, and and she also has taken on, she made the house kosher, and she started keeping Shabbos from being inspired by him. And the parents are divorced, and the father doesn't get it, right? And he said at the Shabbos table, he's like, but of course he doesn't get it. He will never know what it means, what it feels like to be a Jew. And so he's very anti, like me being in yeshiva, but because he doesn't get it. And he has no like connection to it. I don't know. Very interesting.
Is the father Jewish?
He's not Jewish. He's not Jewish. That's why he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's do some of the Me'orinayim. Okay, we'll skip a long paragraph in the middle. We'll start just to get a little taste. Okay. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor. No, I started later on with you guys, right? Okay, Me'orinayim. So Me'orinayim was a student of the Baal Shem Tov. Okay, and he says Amru Razal, Sfar mitzvah. Right? We all know that the reward of a mitzvah is a mitzvah. Ritzonam lomar. They wanted to say. Hashem Yisparach natan lanu hamitzvot kedei lehidabek al yedehem b'Hashem Yisparach. Hashem gave us the mitzvahs in order to connect to Him. Blessed be He. Right? V'zehu schar mitzvah. Hu mitzvah lashon tzavta. Okay, and Chassidus Baal Shem Tov brings out that the mitzvah is from the language of tzavta, which means to connect. Okay, connection, like tzevet. Right, tzevet. You're on Hashem's team. Yes. We through mitzvahs we connect to Hashem. There's no greater reward than that. Mitzvah hu otiot Hashem havaya. The word mitzvah are the same letters as the Hashem's name Yud Ke Vav Ke. Okay, ki hashnei otiot rishonim shehem mem tzadik. Okay, the first two letters of the word mitzvah are mem tzadik. Ba'atbash, otiot, yud, and hey. Okay, so I have the atbash for you on the other side of the page. Okay, just so you could see, right? Atbash is this, okay, chart down here, right? How you can, it's part of like how we learn Torah, the deeper way of learning Torah, through gematrias, through the letters, all of these different ways. And this is one method, is that we take the first half of the aleph base, the first 11 letters, and we match them up with the 11 letters that are in the second half of the aleph base. Okay, so everyone has a zug. Everyone has a pair. And therefore, on some level, those letters are like interchangeable. Okay, so if you look at the words yud, okay, the letter yud is paired up with mem, okay, and the letter hey is paired up with the letter tzadik. So mitzvah, mem tzadik, is really yud and then hey, okay? And the last two letters are vav and hey, okay? Okay, so let's keep on going. This is a very beautiful idea that I love to share. So we have to understand, right? The first two letters are hidden, right? They're hidden in like a secret code, the atbash code, okay? The yud and the hey are hidden behind the mem and the tzadik. And the second two letters, the vav and the hey, are open. They're revealed. Okay, they appear as themselves. They're not wearing a costume, okay? Ha'inyan hu, Hashem Yisparach Baruch Hu satim v'galya. Okay, Hashem Himself is hidden and also revealed. Okay, nigle mitzad peulotav. He is revealed in His actions. Dahainu hanisim v'aniflaot she'asa lanu ve'oseh imanu b'chol ed farega. Right, He's revealed through His actions. So on one hand we could say like the world itself. On the other hand, obviously we really see Hashem's hand in the nisim, right? So hang on. Let's go through, okay? So we see Hashem's hand in the nisim, right? So when we talk about the nisim, we talk about the makos, we talk about the splitting of the Yam Suf, right? We also obviously have seen many of the nisim and niflaot in this war, right? There are many examples that we've all heard, okay? V'nistar mitzad mehuto, but He's hidden in the with respect to His essence. Okay, Behine mehanigla yesh gam ken hanistar, but even in the nigla there's nistar. Okay, even in the revealed, it's actually hidden, right? Because exactly what you were going to say, Hindi. What were you just going to say? Yes. So you could say, okay, so like the missiles from Iran, right? Okay, so you could say, well, we have the science and the technology, and the Iron Dome and the ally, quote unquote allies, right? Whatever, those who came that night to defend truth, right? And they shot down the missiles. Okay, but obviously That's not, if you want to go to a very basic level, how do we even have the science, right? Okay, so Hashem gave us the science. But, how, even that, that famous quote from the science professor, right? He said, like, the chance that every single one of them was going to hit every single one of the targets is literally none, right? So that success rate, right, was a miracle. It absolutely was a miracle, but it's up to us to point out, this is Hashem's hand. This is not stam, right? Okay. Dahainu mahuto yisbarach shehu achayus shel hanigla. Okay, but he's talking here that even the essence of Hashem is really what's giving existence to the world. Okay, so it's nigla, meaning we see it with our eyes, but the fact that it's Hashem is what's still hidden, and it's up to us to realize it, to see the godliness in the world and in the miracles. Uktiv, hanistarot laHashem Elokeinu v'haniglot lanu levanenu ad olam la'asot. That's called. You know what? Let's skip down. Okay, to skip to v'chen. Okay, it's on the second side. It's on the second page. Okay, we're going to skip all the way down just to cover the bottom. V'chen. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lines up from the bottom. Okay? Actually, wait, hang on. Sorry. We have to do one other thing first. We're going to do that, but first we're going to start with the key. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines from the bottom from the top of the page. Okay? We're just skipping some extra things that he brings in, but we're going to do the main thing, okay? No, sorry. I'm sorry. Start with ach. Okay. Top of the page. Start from the top. But we are going to skip, but we're going to do this a little bit. This is what I wanted you to hear. Ach, she'Hashem yisbarach natan lanu lilmod hanigla shel haTorah, v'tzarich sheteda l'mashal okay. Hashem gave us the revealed aspect of Torah, okay, meaning mitzvahs, okay? But v'tzarich sheteda l'mashal, but we have to understand this l'mashal. K'she'ata medaber im adam echad, im mi ata medaber. When you're speaking to someone, who are you speaking with? Hello, im nishmato v'chayuto. You're speaking to their neshama, right? V'haraya shebetzeit nafsho after mea v'esrim. Right? And the proof of this is that when, if there's no longer a neshama in that body after 120 years, you don't speak to that body because you're not speaking to the body, you're speaking to the neshama, right? And even if a person does speak at a gravesite, right? You're not speaking to the matzeva, you're speaking to the neshama that's hovering over the gravesite, right? You're always speaking to the neshama. Therefore, when we learn the Torah, even the revealed Torah, מדברים עם הנשמה והחייס של הנגלה, שהוא הנסתר, דהיו מהותו יסברך. Okay, so when we learn revealed aspects of Torah, and this is what I was saying to you before, Becky, halacha, we have to understand that even in halacha, right, where it says, you tie this shoe first, okay? Even in that, okay, even though the action itself is revealed, what you're actually connecting to is the neshama in that action, which is Hashem. It's always about the neshama. It's always about the neshama. So wait, pull away from the person, okay, because it's just a mashal, okay, and think about the action, right? When you shake a lulav, you're not actually shaking a palm branch. You're shaking it because inside of that action is some way of connecting to Hashem, right? That's why I'm not, I don't shake up. It's not the palm branch that's important. It's that it's Sukkot and that this is a mitzvah on Sukkot. And therefore, what is in that is some essence of Hashem that we're tapping into, right? But Hashem reveals it to us in a physical aspect, just like a person is revealed to us in a physical aspect, even though what we're actually doing is talking to their neshama. Yes? Okay, so that's why okay, so now So now skip to v'chein, okay, which is at the one that I said right, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 14 lines up. Okay, v'chein b'mitzvah tzrichim anachnu lasot ma'aseh hamitzvah. Okay, we have to do the action of the mitzvah, shehu nigla, right? That's revealed to us. V'anistar dahainu hasod shel hamitzvah hu haneshama v'achayus shela shehu mahuto yisparach. But the soul of the mitzvah is Hashem, and that's what gives it koach, right? That's what gives it life. That's what makes us feel a connection when we're doing that mitzvah. V'lachen k'sheoseh b'lo kavana hu keguf b'lo neshama. So therefore, when we do a mitzvah without really thinking, connecting to Hashem through this, it's like a body with no soul. Ki ma'aseh mitzvah hu haguf, the action is the body. V'kavana shehu hasod hu haneshama v'achayus shel mitzvah. Okay, and the kavana, the intention that is really to connect to Hashem, that's the soul and the life force of the mitzvah. And we have to, our goal in every mitzvah is to connect, to unify the body with the soul. And that's really this aspect, this very, very deep concept of connecting Hashem with the Shechina. Okay, we're not going to go into that right now, but that's like basically the essence. Okay, so that's why the first part of the word mitzvah is hidden, because that's really that's the essence of the mitzvah. Okay, the mem and the tzaddik is really the yud and the hey, which is the higher level of Hashem, and the vav and the hey is the physical component of the mitzvah, because that part is revealed to us. But I'll give us a bracha. Okay, we won't. That's it, because we're done with time. Okay, I don't want to go over your. That's exactly what we skipped in the middle. That's exactly right. Right. Okay. And he only saw Hashem's back. Right. Okay. But that's the essence. What we see is the physical component. Right. But it kind of behooves us, or it's on us to remember that there's always a hidden aspect, and that the hidden aspect is Hashem's neshama kavyachol. Right. It's Hashem's mahut. It's Hashem's essence, and that's hidden in every mitzvah. So Bezrat Hashem, we should do every mitzvah with a kavanah, and that's why schar mitzvah, right? That the reward of the mitzvah is the mitzvah, because what does it mean? The reward of the mitzvah is the connection to Hashem that comes out of it. Bezrat Hashem.
Constantly asking now.
Right.
That's like you forget that, so you are actions.
Right. And that was the first piece, right? That was Rebbe Nassim's piece, right? The ratzon, right? We have to know that we have this ratzon. And the ratzon draws Hashem into us. Ratzon is the same letters as the sinor, which means a pipe, right? And so through our ratzon, we draw Hashem's energy into us.
He's saying what's important is not necessarily how much emunah I have in God, but how much God has in me.
Yeah, but that comes through. Yeah, but it comes through in him waking up every morning and